It's Friday, April 8th at about 12:40 in the afternoon. I'm here at Camden Lake Provincial Wildlife Area. I wanted to come and see if the lake was open, and as you can see, it is. So I've been just scanning out here with my telescope on the lake to see what's here. I imagine this lake opened up just recently. So what have I seen out there so far today? Well, we've got a bunch of Canada geese, which is sort of typical for out here. I've heard a couple pied-billed grebes calling. I've got about 3 loons that I've seen, a couple mute swans, some bufflehead ducks on the other side, and around the edge here singing. Obviously you got swamp sparrows and red-winged blackbirds in the background. You can hear a meadowlark, crows, phoebe in the distance off this way a while ago. The spring birds are returning. It's so nice to hear them. So I've done my scanning here off the observation tower for about 15 minutes. Now we're gonna go and walk around the property here, where you can walk on the trails and stuff along the lake shore and into the woods, and see what we can see there. Docks are still up on the driveway here, have to be put in before too long. They just attach them to this cement pier here eventually. Zoe's having fun. She can be free here a bit just because it's a little contained. She can't go tearing around. Wow, I'm amazed she wants to go swimming. It's not that warm. It's like 10 degrees. And the lake's probably 3 or 4 degrees centigrade maybe. Nice to hear the loons calling already. Just walking out on the little point trail here. Quite windy today, as I'm sure you can hear on this recording. You can see here workings of the beaver. Come here in May and the place is just alive with different waterfowl, marsh birds. It's a little quiet right now, but trail's a little flooded right now, as you can see, with the winter melt and all that kind of stuff, but this is par for the course usually, most springs. This old boardwalk may be half submerged as well, and it's getting a bit dicey to walk on, so hopefully I won't fall through. Wow, sinking on me. Gone down about 6 inches in the water. A lot of the planks are floating loose. They've come undone from their nails. So far, I'm hanging on here. This section's a little drier, luckily. You may be able to hear in the distance there that cackling sound. Those are wood frogs calling. This stretch looks like it's really floating, but we'll see. Oh yeah, she's going down with my weight a bit. Granted, I'm heavier than I should be, but I have a feeling it would be doing this even if I weighed half of what I weigh. Oh, look at this piece. This whole section that she's on is floating. I can push it ahead here like a boat. Jump, Zoe. Hopefully I'll get across here. Luna's tried to jump back here. What's this piece gonna do? Uh-oh. Jeez. A little dicey. Uh-oh, a down tree. Somebody's gonna have to come here and clear this up. Oh. Now this boardwalk's a little more solid and upright, so it should be okay. It's a very pretty little section going through this swamp, especially in this beautiful side lighting. Just gorgeous. If I stop for a second, listen to the frogs and the song sparrows and the crows, I feel like I'm in a totally different world. Just feel like you're alone in the world in silence and peace without all the hectic craziness of daily life. Okay, so that boardwalk leads us to the Woodland Trail, which is just a small half-kilometer loop or something through the woods here. It's very tiny. But in the later spring, it's beautiful with flowering spring wildflowers and lots of birds passing through here. It's a nice place to come and spend an hour or two just wandering these little trails. And if you haven't been here, you should come and give it a try. It's very pleasant. You can hear more of those crazy wood frogs out here. They sort of sound like a bunch of ducks quacking. I always love the sound of that in the spring. A week ago this was probably ice, and now it's come to life. The sky is clouding over again, unfortunately. Still a few blue areas. The forecast was for it to get cloudier later this afternoon and even have about a 40 or 50% chance of showers. So I guess that's going to come true by the looks of it, off to the west. And at least we had that bit of a sunny period to walk around in here, which was nice. Yeah, a couple wood ducks flying off there, squealing away. Just heard a nice red-bellied woodpecker calling from up in the trees. They're a more Carolinian woodpecker that used to be quite rare around here, and with each passing year they're getting a little more common. They seem to be expanding the range northward, and now in and around Kingston and further north even, they're regularly seen and heard. Already starting to rain a little bit. This is a neat little section of this trail where you go through the dense white cedar stand. I always like these kind of trails where they get enclosed almost like a canopy. Those wood frogs are still singing up a storm over there. Well, we're already done our little woodland trail. Now we're going to head back out to the field here and walk down the side of it back towards the car. It's really not a huge area to walk here, but still it's very nice. And as I said, at the busy time in May, you can easily spend several hours here. And if you want to get to see some of the lake, that can turn into a whole day going out there in a canoe or a kayak to explore the lake and marsh areas. It's just beautiful. So back out to the fieldy areas beside the wetland here. We just hit a little trail here and then back along the east side of these cedars and pines. Some rusty blackbirds calling in the swamp there. You can see here what I was mentioning about the skies getting dark towards the west. I'll check the radar and see what's coming, if anything. Well, I checked the radar and there is a line of scattered showers heading this way. I think they're going to be pretty light, but they're quite a long linear patch of them going right back to Georgian Bay and beyond. So they'll probably be here and lingering through the afternoon. So we were lucky to get here when we did. These fields out here are crown as well, but they're leased to a local farmer to take hay off. And he's got agreements with the government to not hay until a later time to allow the bobolinks to nest here, because the bobolinks are a threatened species. You might be able to hear a phoebe over at the barn there. Anyhow, it's just beautiful here today. I've got my winter coat on because I figured it would be cold standing on that tower by the lake after having only recently come out of being covered in ice. And it was nice to have it up there. I'm a little hot now after having walked in the woods on the boardwalk and all that out of the wind. But it's always better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. I always enjoy looking around these old barns. They got nice architecture and they're weathered. Broken windows, broken chunks of wood. Just a lot of character. Hello boys, how are you? Maybe some girls too, I'm not sure. Look like all boys. You can see in behind the cows here that nice white elm out in the field, still in really nice shape. Those are getting fewer and fewer to find anymore these days. You can almost hear the history talking when you come by one of these old structures. Not that it's that old on the global perspective compared to many other buildings in the world, but You know, it's probably 100 years old or so or more, and you just think about your ancestors and the early pioneers that came here and lived here prior to cars being common and that kind of thing. No airplanes. There's that threatening sky off to the west. Actually, it's not very threatening. I can see some showers falling from the lower clouds, but they don't look very heavy or very widespread. Guess this is where the farmer must throw his old hay or stuff that he doesn't want. Zoe's finding it fascinating to explore. Come on out this way, Zoe. And here we are back at the tower. So there we are. I hope you enjoyed this little visit to Camden Lake Provincial Wildlife Area. It's always a nice place to come to. It's not too far away for me to hit. And it's certainly within easy range of Kingston and Napanee and those centers. We've totaled a walk of 2.67 kilometers and in an hour and 20 minutes. So a nice little outing. I won't go through the whole list of birds, I guess, but I had 32 species during the hour and 20 minutes I've been here, so not too bad for this time of the year. Just thought I'd grab one more view of the western sky before I leave. It is looking a bit increasingly dark now. Maybe it's just that the showers are getting closer to us. Very pretty though, and still quite sunny right here. Sure nice to get that vitamin D going again. It's been too long to get the vitamin D. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed this little outing. Goodbye from Camden Lake. And I don't know if you can see it up here in the north. We can see showers coming down in front of the white cloud there.